All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Conley Woods for TCGplayer.com. This week, bringing you a draft. One of my favorite draft formats of all time is Lorwyn. They're doing Lorwyn flashback drafts this time around. So I thought an interesting. We got a Horde of Notions. All right, so we're gonna try to make this Horde of Notions work. I know a lot of you are probably not familiar with some of these cards because it's a little bit of an older format, but that's actually good because the thing I wanted to focus on today is building around a build around, and in this case we open Horde of Notions, so that's actually kind of perfect. So for anyone that doesn't know Horde of Notions here, 5 mana of all the colors. 5/5 Vigilance, Trample, Haste, and you can cast or play elementals out of your graveyard without paying a mana cost, which is huge because all the elementals have comes into play effects. This card is castable specifically because of a card called Smoke Raider, which we're going to hope to open up. But basically, the elemental deck is a real deck. It is not a 5-color deck. It is usually a 2 or 3-color deck, but Smoke Raider allows this card to be a real thing, as does Shimmering Grotto, Vivid Land, stuff like that. So we're specifically going to try our best to build around this. I'm going to sort of force to a certain degree just to make a point about how to build around this. But at the same time, I'll make notes about when you should potentially take a stronger card over something that would work with this strategy. But specifically, build-arounds are just powerful cards that have a big payoff for doing whatever the thing they want you to do is. In this case, drafting around elementals is what this is asking you to do, and the payoff is huge. Not only do you get a pretty awesome creature in limited, 5/5 Vigilance, Trample, Haste for 5 mana, but you also get this casting elementals out of your graveyard for free ability, which is very, very strong. And it's kind of the premier reason to run the card in limited, specifically because of Evoke, which puts a card directly from your hand into the graveyard. Basically, it comes into play, then goes straight to the graveyard. So that will work in that particular case. In this world, there's not a lot of good cards. Basically, nothing for us. The best card is maybe Stony Brook Angler. There's a Guiltleaf Ambush, which is reasonable but not great. But I'm going to take Consuming Bonfire here, which is a card that we probably want one of anyway. It's an elemental. It's a tribal sorcery elemental, which means we can cast it off of our Horde of Notions out of the graveyard, which is nice, and it goes back to the graveyard. It doesn't exile it, so you get to keep doing that every turn. Just 5 mana, deal 4 damage to a non-elemental, or 7 damage to a tree folk. So pretty sweet little interaction there out of a pack that was otherwise kind of weak. So here's a pack where the build around part is actually very, very important. So again, I'm kind of forcing here. So, and I'm talking fast because there's a lot of information, so I apologize if it's a little too quickly. I'm partially forcing, but at the same time, look at this pack. There's nothing great. There's Glenelendra Pranksters, a 1/3 flyer for 4 mana that needs you to build around it. Random counterspell. Dream Spoiler Witches, which is a 2/2 flyer that you need to build around. And then there's a random 4 mana 2/3 Flying Flash, which is probably the best raw rate creature here. But what I'm going to do, instead of taking any of that, I'm going to take a card that you normally would not even consider this early, which is Vivid Creek. Vivid Creek comes into play tapped, produces a blue mana, and you can remove one of 2 counters from it to make any color mana that turn. This is particularly important because of Horde of Notions, but also, again, I'm taking advantage of a weak pack here. I'm taking a card that we really want for our deck, and I'm not really passing up anything I'm too sad about. So building around cards sometimes means making trade-offs in favor of slightly worse cards. You sacrifice a slightly better card in favor of a slightly worse card that has more synergy in your deck. And sometimes it's just figuring out when the pack is bad enough to just take a card you need. This particular pack is stronger than every pack we've seen so far outside of the Horde and Oceans pack. We're going to take Smoke Raider, which is the partner in crime to our rare here. So just showing you the card is 2 mana, 1/1, taps to add 2 mana of any color, combination of colors, but you can only spend that mana on elementals or to activate elementals. So obviously that's where this guy is insane. You can cast this on turn 3 off of the Smoke Raider, which is just absurd if you think about it. The best card in the pack is probably Smoke Raider, but if not, it's Final Revels up here, which is 5 mana, +2/+0 for your team, or no, sorry, +2/+0 for the entire team board, or -0, -2 for the entire board. So it's basically a 5 mana sweeper in limited, and it's quite strong. There's also Caterwauling Boggart here, which we would take if the Smoke Raider wasn't here. It gives your Elemental's Menace. But Smoke Raider is definitely a pick for us. It's easily the #1 card we're looking for. And we got rewarded with another pretty sweet card immediately after that. So this pack is medium power level. There's Ghostling Changeling here, which is fine, and an Elemental. We could potentially take it. Works with Smoke Raider. Black tends to not be one of the main colors of the elemental deck, but Shriekmaw is great. The best card here by rate is probably Cloud Crown Oak. 4 mana, 3/4 reach, just really great rate, good in all decks. It's really solid. But there is a Soulbright Flamekin down here, which is extremely powerful for a couple reasons. One, giving all your whole team trample has relevance. Producing a bunch of mana has relevance. But specifically, there is a bunch of elementals that combo with this that either reduce the cost of activations or get bigger when you activate something a bunch of times or get +1/+0 when you activate something. Just all kinds of weird activated ability elementals that you actually wouldn't know about if this was your first time drafting the set. But I have a leg up here and I know the set well enough that I'm going to go ahead and take this. Here's a good example of knowing when your limits are to be bit down on. So earlier I took a Vivid Land, second or third pick I think. So you might think that taking a Vivid Land here is the correct choice. And it wouldn't be the worst pick if you took a Vivid Land here. But I think in this case you really want to take the Tarfire. We're clearly going to be a heavy red deck, regardless of what we're doing here. We've already picked up a Smoke Raider and a Vivid Creek in just 5 picks, so we're already doing okay on fixing. So we don't absolutely have to have this pick. And Tarfire is just an all-around solid card. Shock with Tribal Instant Goblin on there. So it's just really good card to have in our deck. It shores up a lot of random matchups. And we can try to pick up these Vivid cards a little bit later on. Like, for example, right here. Not only do we get a Vivid Land, but we get a red one, which is kind of perfect. I mean, not necessarily perfect. I guess blue might be better, or any other color might be better because of the Horde Notions. But certainly not sad to pick up a Vivid Crag here. Other options are really only Skeletal Changeling. I would take Lowland Oath and probably not play with it. Just because we're not going to be playing a lot of goblins, and 3/3s for 4 are not great. They're okay. But yeah, we're happy to pick up a Vivid Crag, and we are off to the races here with some sweet action. Ooh, so here is another awesome way to draft this deck, and it used to be my favorite way to draft the deck. There are two really expensive cards. Fault Grinder, which is 7 mana, 4/4, kill a land, of course, and trample, and it has Evoke for 5. There also is a black card, I cannot remember the name, but it is a 3/3 for, I think, the same casting cost, and it maybe evokes for 4 or 5, and the opponent discards 2 cards. They're both very expensive with reasonable evoke costs, and you take them and makeshift mannequins and smoke raiders, and you do everything in your power to ramp these fatties out and do kind of broken things with them. So I don't mind trying to explore that kind of strategy, and it's kind of a fun one. And again, this card is sort of free there, so I'm just going to take it, and we'll see where this goes. Here, a couple of pretty reasonable options. The first one being Fertile Ground. If we were going to be green heavy, this mana fixes. Also, Leaf Gilder here. I don't know why it should not be here. Despite this pack being very strong for green, though, I'm gonna kind of ignore it because we still have a reasonable card here. +2/+0 to 2 creatures is fine as is. But this is also an elemental and makes the 2 things it targets into elementals. So all around really solid card to work with Horde Notions and just synergy cards in general. Here I'm going to take a Wispmare for the sideboard. It's an elemental, deals with Oblivion Ring, which is probably the best removal spell in the format outside of Shriekmaw. So definitely happy to pick that up. Take a Broken Ambitions because we're likely to be blue and might play this. Ooh, got our Boggart back. Makes elementals have menace, and it's a good card just has a 1/of randomly. I'm definitely down. Sure. Not playing any of this stuff. You want to look for little synergy cards that you can play in the late picks like that to make your deck better, but there's just nothing there. Also, I realize I'm covering up my sideboard a little bit with my webcam. Hopefully it's not a big deal. I have to sacrifice something, and the sideboard's just randomness. It'll show at the end of the match. So I would rate that pack like a C+. We got some good mana fixing. No, probably B, actually. Good mana fixing, a couple of solid cards, and a good build around. We're definitely going to need a little bit of help in finishing this, but you know, we'll see where we get to. Here we have an expensive elemental that puts 2 1/1 Merfolk into play, and then you tap 2 untapped Merfolk you control to give this Shroud and untap it. Actually, not the worst card in the world, although it's not the best either. It's a difficult card to analyze. I would play it in an elemental deck like this because of Smoke Raider, and that's about it. I have to figure out if I'm taking it here because the pack is not great. There's a Ghostling Changing, which is a better elemental, and I might just take it. This card usually I can't remember if it wheels. I remember it being strong in certain decks. I remember I played like FNM all the time with this set, and I remember this card beating people, but I don't know if that was because it was FNM or not. I'm kind of down to try this out. If we end up with more mana acceleration, it'd be kind of sweet. Then again, I have the Fault Grinder backup plan too, and that does make me want to take black cards. So the Ghostly Changing is like a fine card. It just pumps. I think I'm going to take the Ghostly Changing. I think it's a safe pick there. Ooh. Then we immediately get past Widwin. That's frustrating. This card is very good. I could go 3 colors. I mean, I'm most likely to be these 3 colors. Widwin is certainly worth it. These are like the 3 elemental colors, black, blue, red. I would say blue, red are the primary ones, but it's either that or Weed Strangle. Weed Strangle is not that great. Widwin is very good. All right, I'm just going to take Widwin. There's a Vivid Creek here, which I would not mind. It might wheel. This pack's pretty deep. There's playable, 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 playable. So maybe we get it back. I doubt it, but I'm going to take Widwin here. It's just a 3/3 flyer that bounces itself. Really solid card all around. Ooh, there's an Oblivion Ring in this pack. Man, they're killing me. Oh, Mournwelk. That was the card name I was looking for. So yeah, it evokes for 4. They discard 2 cards, cost 7, and it's a 3/3. I don't want to take it here. This is a pretty bad pack to take it out of. It's either Oblivion Ring here. We have 2 Vivid Crags to cast it so far. Or I could take a Tar Pitcher. Mournwelk's fine. It's a card that's very likely to wheel. Or we can get other copies of it. And also, we haven't gotten any mannequins yet. Oblivion Ring's just also stupidly strong. We have 2 Vivid lands, so I'm just considering it. This is a tough spot because, like, if we want to stick to the build around plan, we take the Mournwelk and we're pretty happy. I guess I could just do that and just pass up. It really sucks to pass up an Oblivion Ring here, but if I want to make my deck better, I should take the Mournwelk. If I want to take a risky strategy that could make my deck better, I could take the Oblivion Ring. But if I just 100% want to make my deck better, I take the Mournwelk. I shouldn't even say 100%. There's a chance it doesn't make my deck, but the chances are higher that it does. Another free Tarfire here. Another pretty bad pack. There's a Vivid Land, a Crown Oak. This Sea Guide Ash is also pretty strong. When it dies, you get 3 forests, but nowhere near our ballpark in terms of what we're doing. Here's a Ceaseless Seer Blades that gets +1/+0 when you ever activate an elemental. Currently, we have this guy to combo with it. We also have Smoke Raider, which does, when it activates, gives +2 or +1/+0. Changeling does activate it. So I think it's a solid enough card to pick up here. It's a 4-drop, which is fine. Nothing else I'm really even interested in, so. Changeling Berserker. Alright, so we have a lot of interesting choices here. This is the kind of stuff that I'm surprised we haven't seen prior to this, but it's all good. So Changeling Berserker is 4 mana, 5/3 haste. You have to champion a creature of yours, but it's very, very good. There's also Inner Flame Acolyte, which is a 3 mana, 4/2 haste. You could also evoke to give something +2/+0 instead. And then there's Flamekin Brawler, which is one of the cards to combo with Soulbright Flamekin. You give it Trample, and then you give it +8/+0 with all this mana, and you go to town. I think I like the Inner Flame Acolyte the most here, although Changeling Berserker is very strong. Could see taking either of these. They're both elementals, too. Alright, I'm going to take the Changing Berserker and hope one of those other 2 guys wheels. I doubt it will, but you never know. Goat Napper is a pretty solid card. You can steal any Changeling with it. Also, there's a Sunrise Sovereign, which would have been a sweet card to build around. But we have a Soulbright Flamekin here, so I'm just going to snatch it up. It makes the rest of our little combo-y pieces with it that much better. There's another Fault Grinder. Do I take this? I haven't seen any more Smoke Raiders, and I haven't seen any Makeshift Mannequins. So if I don't take the Fault Grinder, I could take Consuming Bonfire, which is a fine card. Or I could snatch up this Fault Grinder and just go to town. Man, I'm really kind of risking all in on these Fault Grinders. Alright, I'm going to take it. I'm going all in. We're doing it. I didn't wheel anything out of this pack. Wow, that sucks. Alright, Wismare to the sideboard. Didn't wheel what I wanted out of this pack, although that's reasonable. I guess we'll needle draw. Tar Pitcher wheel. Wow. Did not expect that. I guess I'll take it. I'm not going to play any of the stuff. Come on, one drop. Brawler. 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 I picked up a second Flamekin, so I really want that Brawler. Also, changing Berserker just makes the Brawler a little bit better, too. So right now, we shouldn't have any problems casting Horde of Notions because our mana base is basically mono red. I would really like Makeshift Mannequin and like 2 more Smoke Raiders. If I get 1 Makeshift Mannequin and 2 Smoke Raiders in these last... Even if I just get 2 Smoke Raiders, I'll be pretty happy, but I really need Smoke Raiders. Not getting a single one out of this last pack was pretty brutal. I don't want any of this. I think that was the pack with Brawler, but if it wasn't, it was this next pack, and we missed it. Did get Caesar Seer Blades, which is a combo with Soulbright Flamekin. So I'm not totally dead. Boom, boom, boom. No, we got another Bogre. I don't want another Bogre. I'm actually going to take the Hurly Burly here. We have 2 Needle Drops on the sideboard. We could potentially combo with this, and it's also just a good sideboard card. I'm not going to play a second Bogre. That sucks. What are you going to do? So right now, yeah, we're basically just looking for a couple synergy pieces to make our deck work. Smoke. Oh, no, this is the pack. Oh, my gosh, we got so lucky. All right, this card coming back is insane for us. It gives us another avenue to explore rather than the all-in graveyard big guy strategy, which is nice. All right, wow, we got a whole bunch of stuff here. I think I'm going to go with the Eye Blight's Ending because it's the strongest single color card other than Oblivion Ring. I could play the Oblivion Ring, but I'm just going to have more swamps in my deck, I feel like, and Eye Blight's Ending's not that far behind it. It's worse, don't get me wrong, but it's not that far behind. Soulbright Flamekin Might Wheel. This card is actually quite strong because it makes elementals, but we have enough fatties already with the double Fault Grinder Mournwelk that I feel like I could pass this up pretty safely. If we wheel the Soulbright Flamekin, that would be nice. But yeah, I'm just going to take the Eye Blight's Ending. A little light on removal anyway. Ooh, that's a Brian Stout Arm. Man, I guess I was just supposed to be white this whole time. I would have been rewarded like tenfold. I'm going to take the Brian. It's a really strong card. It's a 4/4 lifelink that throws creatures at your opponent's face, and you gain that much life. I could take a blue Changeling, but this card is very, very strong. And I'm just going to look to take a Vivid Land or a Shimmer Grotto really high this pack. And ooh, that guy is strong. This guy gives your elementals +1/+1, and you can put an elemental from your hand into play, and it gains haste. So this works perfectly with our Fault Grinder and our Mournwelk, and I'm very happy right now. So that was like the saving card. It's a rare. You could not expect to get this, but we did, and we're the bomb. And I'm going to take it. Also, I would normally take a Lash Out here, otherwise I'd be pretty happy, but I can't risk this not coming back. Ooh. Alright, we have a couple of really strong cards for our deck. We have, well, I guess not really strong. There's Auntie's Hovel and there's Eye Blight's Ending. I think I'm going to be pretty heavy black, so I can take, even if I don't play the Brian Stout Arm, that's fine. There's also Wanderer's Twig. I think I have to take this Eye Blight's Ending, though. It's so good. There's a couple of random cards in here I can cut, too. Otherwise, there is an Elemental here, and it even has activated ability, so it works with some stuff, but whatever. Elemental here with activated ability, Wanderer's Twig. I think I'll take the Hovel before the Wanderer's Twig. But they're both fine. But yeah, I'm going to take the Eye Blight's Ending. Alright, we have Benthicor, if I want to take that. It does work with Incandescent Soulstoke. Man, I really wish I could have got another Smoke Raider, but I guess we'll have to do without that. There's another Brawler. I have double Flamekin, and I might wheel a third, and I can combo that with Brawler pretty nicely. There's a Moonglow Extract, which is fine, although I just took a second Eye Blight's Ending, so I don't know if I need to go that route. Don't want the Stink Drinker. I don't really want to go for the Benthicor. I think I have enough fatties, and I'm probably going to pick one more up for them in the draft. I think this might be the pick. It might not make my deck, but I think it's going to be the pick in case I pick up the other... Ooh, there we go. Alright, another Fault Grinder. It's triple Fault Grinder. There's a Vivid Land, too. Man. Let's see. So combos with this Fault Grinder. Do I take another one? I already have 3. Maybe I don't take another one. Because I could take that Vivid Land. That Vivid Land's pretty nice. We're getting late. I have enough playables. And I still have the Horde of Notions and stuff to consider. So I think I do take this. Alright, there's a free Mournwell to make that work. There's also a Blade Roll here, but I don't really need him. He's just a 1-drop 2-1. So he's not really the payoff I'm looking. I mean, I have a couple Brawlers or whatever, but I would rather just have a Mournwell. I can cut this Broken Ambitions pretty easily. I'm sure there's something else. I can cut this card. I can cut... Yeah, that's probably the card to cut. Oh, and then, then we got another pack with it. Alright, do I triple Fault Grinder, single Mournwalk? Mournwalk's the worst in terms of bringing it back usually because it has diminishing returns, whereas Fault Grinder doesn't. Fault Grinder's also just a better creature. It's a 4/4 trample versus a 3/3 nothing. Otherwise, I could take another Bonfire here. Another Bonfire is strong, but having a third Fault Grinder is pretty nice. I think I just cut this and add the third Fault Grinder. Alright, ooh, we got this guy back. Okay, so we got double Brawler, triple Flamekin, triple Fault Grinder. Probably just cut one of these 2 cards. I don't know. I could cut Blades if Villains Fail. It doesn't do a lot for me, does it? I could recast it a bunch with Horde of Notions, but I'm not going to have any worries there. Oh, and then we got Firebelly Changeling too. Wow. There's also Hearthcage Giant, but you can't put Hearthcage Giant in play with Incandescent Soulstoke, so I'm not too thrilled about that. I could just not play this Brian and play Firebelly Changeling instead. My deck would not be that much worse with that change. Oh, jeez. Where are we at? What are we doing? I think I'm going to actually take the Mud Button. I'm going to take this to the sideboard. I don't think I'm going to play that other card. As much as I would like to tell myself I'm going to, I'm not going to. Ugh! That's so many combos. I can't play 3 Brawlers. Brawlers just doesn't do enough most of the time. Man, what do I do with this deck? I really wish I picked up another Smoke Raider or 2. That would make the control aspect so much more appealing. I really have 2 different angles that are kind of similar, and that is I have this like aggressive O2 pump elemental strategy, and then I have the late game Fault Grinder strategy. I think I'm going to just minimize this aggressive strategy and try to go here. Like, Brawler is a solid card with a lot of uses, but I think I can just get away with 1 potentially. Flamekin is fine without it. He still works with Seer Blades, which is a better card on its own. I guess I could cut the Bogart and add another ball. Flamekin Brawler. That's probably better. If everything has Trample, they don't need Menace as much. These already have Trample, that's fine. And then I guess I run 1 Plains, 1 Island, 4 Swamps. That's 9. No, 3 Swamps. Do I run 1 Plains? I don't even know. You want a forest? No, I'm not going to get a forest. This will give me 9 with 3 swamps. 4, 5, 6. This does let me filter. This lets me filter my mana into red mana because it takes 2 colorless. Alright, I think I'm going to do... That's 4 black mana plus 2 Vivids. 9 mountains, 10 mountains plus 2 Vivids. 2 blue plus 2 Vivids. 1 plains plus 3 Vivids. No forest plus 3 Vivids. And then I have a Smoke Braider, a Soul Stoke to get around stuff. I have a lot of red cards. I also have 2 Flamekin Brawlers, so I just want to kind of maximize my red. This is a bit of a shaky mana base, and 17 lands is a slightly aggressive. I am kind of looking at these as like 5 mana cards. Like if you look at it like that, it's not as bad. I'm trying to figure out if I could theoretically cut something to add a land. I'm trying to see if I want to. I don't think I need to, because if I get to 6 mana with a Soulbright Flamekin out, I get to 8 mana. So 6 mana gets Default Grinder naturally. Alright, I'm just going to try this and use the Soulbrights as like combo pieces on both ends. We also have a random Brian Stout Arm and a random Widwin the Mighty Gale in here. So we're gonna let it fly. We're gonna see how we work. We're mostly trying to get this guy to work, and I think it'll be sweet. We have a lot of random things that kill lands. We have a Mournwelk. We have a Consuming Bonfire to combo with it. We have a couple Eye Blight endings for other removal. And then we have the Soulbright Flamekin plus Flamekin Brawler combo in here, as well as a Ceaseless Seer Blades. So I think we have enough stuff going on that this should work. We also just have random good removal, like 2 Tarfires, 2 Eye Blight endings. So, and then a couple bombs in Widwin, Brian, and Horde of Notions. So I like where this went. It's not as pure of a deck as I would have liked. We didn't see any more Smoke Raiders, which is a huge letdown, although people know it's such a strong card. So, you know, we'll just do the best with what we have. We'll be right back for round 1 here momentarily. Conley Woods, TCGplayer.com, bringing you Lorwyn Draft. We'll be right back.